Hello. Normally in most settings, doing lots of magic doesn't have too bad of a repercussion. Let's take Harry Potter for example. No real issues arise when you spam a killing curse other than you get banished from the nerd system. Well, this is not most settings, and there are very much consequences for doing too much magic. Case in point, the Thousand Suns. Please share this video, drop a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to stay tuned for the next one. Maybe to eventually hit that 500 subscriber minimum so I can start getting paid for this. That way I can earn some extra money to buy more Warhammer models, as Tzeentch intended. The Thousand Suns are one of the more popular Chaos sub-factions, hosting some fan-favorite names, too, that are well known and loved. In Zangor Shaman, these are a most psychically gifted Space Marine Legion, being matched with psychic powers only by the Grey Knights and truly astounding psychers in the wider galaxy. They are also servants of the god of schemes and change, being Tzeentch's representative, Legion, led by Magnus, demon primarch of the Thousand Suns. While the Thousand Suns use primarily psychic gifts, they do not neglect more reliable means of combat such as close-quarter duels, long-range firefights, but of course the Thousand Suns also enhance themselves to be superior fighters in these conventional means, with rituals and spells. And ultimately, the Thousand Suns are a formidable force, cold, ruthless, and cursed beyond redemption. In the early years of the Great Crusade, before Magnus was reunified with his legion, the Thousand Suns were burned with a great curse that would take hold of their legionnaires at the moment of their inception into the Legion, when they received their gene seed implants, known simply as the Flesh Change. This curse that plagued the Legion was uncurable and would take countless legionaries as they lost control of their innate psychic gifts and turned into abominable mutations of flesh and bone, which is known now in the 42nd millennium as a warp spawn. Thus, the Emperor of Mankind arrived at Prospero, and Magnus was reunified with his legion. Only 1,000 members remained. As such, the legion was named the Thousand Suns. You know, real stroke of genius from the big red fucker. Later in the years of the Great Crusade, as one or more legionaries were taken by the Flesh Change, perhaps two, Magnus would eventually confront Tzeentch and trade one of his eyes for a cure to the Flesh Change. Little did Magnus know, though, that this decision would seal his fate and permanently bind him to Tzeentch forever. But for now, the consequence of this barter was the end of the Flesh Change. The Legion was cured and Magnus returned to a grateful Legion. And then the heresy broke out. An important part of understanding the Thousand Suns is understanding Magnus. And to understand why he betrayed the Imperium, we need to know who he was. Magnus was scattered into the inky void of space along with the other Primarchs to land on a planet known as Prospero, the planet of the sorcerers. Unlike most worlds in the Imperium, Prospero was not only tolerant of psychers, but embraced them and allowed them and their gifts to aid in making a thriving civilization. Magnus was raised by the scholars of Prospero and became a talented psyker with an insatiable hunger for knowledge. When the Emperor arrived at Prospero, Magnus immediately knew that this man was his father.
You are the father!
And so Magnus joined the Emperor and learned directly from the Master of Mankind further secrets of the warp. Magnus also learned more and more of the perils of the warp, as the Emperor warned him of the many things that lie beneath the thin veil of reality. As time continued, and Magnus and his legion conquered the galaxy, he would eventually come to blows with the Primarch of the Space Wolves, Leman Russ, who would eventually become his nemesis and their legion's despised enemies. Magnus believed that Leman was a hypocrite, Leman believed Magnus was an abomination, and with enough bickering, the Emperor then created the Council of Nicaea to decide, once and for all, whether or not psychic gifts bestowed upon humanity should be used or not. Magnus argued the point, supported by his brothers, Fulgrim, Jangadai Khan, Conrad Curus, Sanguinius, Lorbro Aurelian, Vulcan, Corpus Corax, Alpharis, and a less vocal Robute Gilliman. Or is it Robute? Robute. Robobot Grillo. Vehemently arguing against the point was Leman Russ, of course, Mortarion, yes, Perturabo, Angron, and a less vocal Paris Madison Rogel Dorn. In the end of the council ruled to outlaw the use of psychers within the Imperium, which infuriated Magnus, prompting him to further delve into the mysteries of the warp against the Emperor's objectively better judgment. Soon after the Battle of Valinor, the world that would be soon known as Armageddon, Magnus, whilst meditating on Prospero, foresaw the fall of Horus to the ruinous powers. Although Magnus's opinion of the Emperor was soured by the verdict of the council, Magnus imagined that his use of psychic gifts to predict Horus's betrayal would restore the Emperor and thus the Imperium's faith in Psykers once again, and Psykers would be allowed to freely use their gifts within the Imperium. Now, anyone who knows anything about Magnus, scratch that, the Warhammer 40,000. Can tell you exactly what happens next, and why, controversial opinion incoming, Magnus is fucking everything wrong. Now, hypothetically speaking, if you knew that someone close to your divine leader was going to commit the greatest betrayal of all time, and had every resource to do it, would you A. Tell your best friend and get his opinion. B. Go to the big boss man as fast as you can with your magical teleporting starship to warn him. C. Try to talk him out of it. He could be reasonable. Or D. Annihilate the single most important project the Emperor was fucking working on, which even though it was a secret, anyone with brain cells on war could tell that the Imperial fucking spiders in the web violating and probably should make his edict, the powerful Imperial psychic demon scared. Magnus picked D. The rest is history. The Emperor ordered Leman Russ to get Magnus on Prospero. Now the traitor Horus told Leman to kill Magnus. Magnus sides with the traitors for being a dumbass, and the heresy goes on, resulting in Magnus falling to chaos and becoming a demon prince, losing the noble shard of the soul, which kept him from becoming a total megalomaniac. Fun fact, the noble soul shard of Magnus was used to create the first Grey Knights, or the first Grey Knight, or one of the first Grey Knights. I don't fucking know. Might not even be a true fact. Scratch that. I might be lying altogether. Who the fuck knows? It's a mystery. And there's a reason why I've decided to be so flaunty and vile and evil, because I am. But wait, there's more. Ahriman, the other Thousand Son, wanted to try and solve the flesh change because where the Legion fell to chaos, Zinz decided to bring back the curse, but worse. So Ahriman tried to end it once and for all with a special spell, the Rubric of Arma. At this point, all Thousand Son traitors and loyalists were still flesh and bone. Just some of them went through a bit of a wood chipper when they cast gun. So when Ahriman tried to outdo the work of a literal fucking god, of course he only ended up making things worse. The apple does not fall far from the tree. Now, instead of being magical fuckers that occasionally turn into monsters, they're all fucking dust. That's it. If you didn't have psychic abilities in the Thousand Sons at the time the rubric was cast, you become dust. And your armor becomes possessed.
Terrible job, super shit. You fucked that one up that badly.
Now, Ahriman and Magnus fucking despise each other. And nothing is better. Thousand Sons. Because your day just got way worse. In 40k, the Thousand Sons' biggest conflict, the model line's debuting conflict, was the Siege of Fenris, which is relatively self-explanatory. Siege of Fenris. Fenris was sieged. Thousand Sons hate Space Wolves. The Space Wolves fucked their dogs on Fenris, so the Thousand Sons try to destroy Fenris. They siege it for a while, Magnus shows up, got banished by Giga Chad, Logan Grimnar. Mwah, my beloved. And that's that. In the tabletop, Thousand Sons are a psyker-heavy army, which in 10th edition means that they're a shooting army with funny gun names. They're not exactly inept at melee, but their focus is definitely in ranged combat, and I mean ranged. They have some great ranged options for their units and their Cabal spells, and yeah, they're also pretty good. Which brings me to their main army rule, Cabal Sorcerers. It's where it's not complex. It's nowhere near as complex as CSM, but it still packs quite a fucking punch. With the special rule, your army gains Cabal points. Every turn equal to the sum of the Cabal point value each unit has. This can be This is the number actually next to the Cabal points on the top right of the unit's data sheet. For example, Arma has a Cabal Sorcerer's point value 3. But there's no way in fucking hell that I'm saying Cabal of Sorcerer's point value every time I'm going to shorten it to Cabal points. Cry about it. This means that he alone would generate the 3 Cabal points, every turn, in addition to whatever other Cabal points all units in your army generate. These points can then be used to cast extra magic spells. Each spell can only be cast once per phase, though. Additionally, Cabal points do reset at the end of your next turn, and you can use Cabal spells in your enemy turn, as the rules do specifically state during the battle round, not your battle round. So keep that in mind when using Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns also have access to almost all the CSM vehicles, in addition to 2 special units exclusive to the Thousand Suns. The Mutalith Vortex Beast is such unit, which is a ridiculously good model. Ridiculously good ranged attack. Ridiculously good melee options. Oh, yeah, he's good. Paired with some fine damage dealing abilities and damn good toughness value and alright save. This boy is one of the perks of playing Thousand Suns. And that perk is damage. Damage is the name of the game. A common theme in this army is going to be most units are a bit glass cannon-y. They do really, really good damage, but they are a bit more fragile. More so than another army's unit by comparison. This is made very obvious when you note that the saves and invulns that are most common in this army, and especially here, are 4-up to 5-up invulns. It's fine. It's not bad. But it is a bit thin compared to, say, the Land Raider or the Hellbrute 2-up saves on both of them, which means you want to stay away from any big damage, big AP, big dick weapons your opponent's going to be bringing, because you will notice your army dropping like flies if you don't. Speaking of which, the main infantry choice for Thousand Suns is the Rubric Marine, which is equipped with a 3-up save and a 5-up invulnerable save. It kind of contradicts what I just said, but it's a necessary evil, considering that this 10-man squad is worth north of 200 points, and if Rubric Marines had a normal Marine save, you could be feeling the pain within the first 2 battle rounds easily. They have some good guns, they have some very good psychic attack, and in addition to that, they have some good reroll wound rolls of 1, and wound rolls in total within range of an objective marker. But do not make the mistake of thinking, your guys will die, and die fast, if you do not take care of them, so be careful. Additionally, Scarab Cult Terminators are also a very good versatile unit that you can throw into your army. Their major downside, though: lack of characters that can attach to the unit. Their AP2 Heavy Flamer is nice. The Hellfire Missiles are very nice. The Soul Reaper Cannon is nice, but it's better to use the other weapons in the Terminator squad instead of the Soul Reaper Cannon, because the Rubric Marines can also equip 1 Soul Reaper per squad. For variety's sake, it's better to equip the Flamer or the Missile Launcher, but, you know, I'm not James Workshop. I'm not John Warhammer. Do whatever you want, just be careful with the Thousand Suns. Damage is what they're good at. They're very good at it. They're quite good at it. Might I say, they are king of damage. Mutalith Vortex Beast. Devastating wound strength 18 attacks. Oh yeah. But they're very fragile if not played smartly. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to drop a like, share, and subscribe to see what else I've got cooking up while college drags my ass across the field. Also, Magnus is such a fucking idiot.
Rocky Road McDonald's.